What is
The champagne parties for making the wild cards.
Oh, it's fine, man.
I don't know. I'm not the only one. I've seen it all over Twitter. I saw Luke Wilson of TSN say it looks like they're celebrating a World Series. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast.
Before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe, and help us get to 200 subscribers.
This is part 2 of the podcast. Part 1 is already out. At least it should be. And part 2, as we mentioned in part 1, is strictly MLB. It's just the season preview because the season has officially ended. Playoffs start.
Recap.
Season recap. Sorry, playoff preview as a season recap because the season ended. Playoff preview because the playoffs start today, right before. This will be uploaded right before the playoff starts. The first wild card game between the Rays and the Rangers. That being said, make sure you guys follow our TikTok, Twitch, Instagram. It's not Twitch, sorry. Twitter. Twitter. We're not streaming yet. Twitter. If you guys want us to stream, let us know. But TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. We try to post daily, so make sure you guys help us out with that. Audio listeners, once again, make sure you guys download it, whatever platform you guys use, and give us a 5-star rating 5-star rating as well. Without a further ado, let's just get right into it.
Playoffs are here.
Let's go season recap first quickly.
We're gonna do that obviously.
But playoffs are here. Playoffs are here. 162 games since end of March, early April. The season
still should be shortened in my opinion. But yeah, we'll start off with the just overall thoughts on the season. We'll start with the Blue Jays. How the hell do you manage to pull that off?
We'll go Blue Jays briefly because we're gonna talk about them in the playoffs because they didn't make the playoffs. Probably the most frustrating team because 100%. On paper they should have been the best team in the AL. I think based on how the season ended up going. Yes, they should have been arguably competing with the likes of the Astros and the Yankees in my opinion. But even those two teams struggled, which we'll get into in a second. The team pulled off 89 wins. Obviously, could have easily been 90 because they said who cares about the last game of the season, and obviously the lead's blown and stuff like that. But their biggest strong suit became their biggest downfall. Not consistently hitting, especially clutch hitting. Mainly, they could get the hits, but not the clutch hits. Yet this team somehow finished with 89 wins, which is the frustrating part because. In a way, yes, this is a definition of a team that'll just get in and see what happens now. Because normally, you would think that of like shittier teams will get in, anything happens. That's kind of, not the great thinking of a team. But this one, it's just like, okay.
It's baseball. That's how baseball is.
We're struggling. We might as well just try to get in and see what happens. And the Blue just made it in.
Yeah,
right?
It's, your biggest weakness became your biggest strength. And your biggest strength became your biggest weakness. In pitching from
defense,
last year to
mainly,
pitching and defense. And that's your identity now, right? And it's a good identity to have because that's what wins championships. Right? And you gotta have a good bullpen. You gotta have good starters.
They did this with Manoah struggling. Their Cy Young candidate last year, right? So and he was off the team by halfway through. Blue Jays overall. Listen, we're gonna do after the World Series is completed. We'll be doing a tier list, based on that, where we think. And as of right now, early reactions depending on what happens in the playoffs. It's like a B team, just because. You can't say they're F or D because they still made the playoffs at the end of the day. And they had 89 wins. It wasn't like they were barely 500. They were 89
They're in the
wins.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
They're in the playoffs. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So
we'll see what happens.
That's the Blue Jays recap. But sticking with not the Blue Jays, but the AL East. It was as advertised the hardest division in baseball.
Yeah, 100%.
Because 4 out of the 5 teams were over 500. But even the one team, the Boston Red Sox, was 78 wins. 3
games below 500.
So there's that, right? And whereas if you look at every other team, either they had one team that was at least in the 50 wins, like the West had Oakland, the Central had Kansas City. Over on the other side, you had teams like St. Louis struggled bad. You had Colorado, right? And then the Nationals. So like this team still had the Red Sox were in it for the most part until the last month of the season. The Yankees were in it until the last month of the season. Yeah, so as advertised, it was the best division in baseball. But let's just go with their big surprise, the Baltimore Orioles.
Who would have thought they would have won the division? Playoffs wasn't the surprise for me.
Yeah, no, I thought they would have done.
Yeah, the playoff was not a surprise, but the way they won the division was a definite
101
surprise.
wins, right? Second only to Atlanta. and just finished ahead of the Dodgers in that mark. Yeah, they were the biggest surprise overall, and because of how they finished, not because they're a playoff team. It's just because they were the best team in the AL and 3 games off being the best team in all of majors. And this was coming off a comeback because the Rays had an historic start who fell down to earth, and the Orioles capitalized. We're not going to talk about the playoffs right now. We'll talk about the playoff preview. But yeah, that's the biggest surprise there, in my opinion. Let's go with another. You want to go with a disappointment, or you want to go with the surprise?
I'll stick with the same division, Yankees. Like, you were projected to win the division, and
or at least battle with the Jays to win the division.
Yeah, but you choked, right? Like, your pitching was injured. Aaron Judge got injured, and you just couldn't recover, right? After a Garrett Cole, probably Cy Young winner, favorite to win, most likely going to win.
Sucks because I think we had Kevin Gausman who had a great year, but again, baseball is tough to make.
It's Garrett Cole. There's no question.
We'll do our awards prediction right after too, but
there's no question about it. It's Garrett Cole. He never won one, so this will be his one. And, the only bright spot on your team, Aaron Judge, obviously another bright spot, except for his injury.
Yeah.
But other than that,
but even when he came back, they struggled.
Other than that, is like, you guys were bad, right? Like, your Carlos Rodon,
worst signing in baseball
probably this season. Luis Severino just couldn't get on the mound. Nestor Cortez injured. Giancarlo Stanton, disappointment. Like, it was just, you couldn't hit, you couldn't pitch, and your bullpen was injured. It was just a terrible season for Yankees and Yankees fans.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said there. Let's go. I'm gonna stick with the disappointment. Let's just go get it over with.
Angels.
Yep.
We talked a lot Angels, right?
Listen, you have the 2 best players in baseball, in my opinion. One above generational talent who never comes around like that since Babe Ruth, and Shohei Ohtani, who's probably winning MVP. Could have been a Cy Young candidate, but obviously I think his hitting was more impressive than the pitching, even though doing it together is impressive. But you were in it, right? You went all in. I was advising. I think you were advising that, like, hey, listen, we respect the all in, but it might be best for you to just trade him. Yes, you don't want to be known as a team to trade for him, but you also don't want to be trade him away, but you also don't want to be the team known to be losing him for free as well. So, and there's a big chance that he's a Dodger next year or wherever else he goes, the Mets, wherever. And you can't, like, the fact that you only made the playoffs once with Trout, and I don't think you even won a game at that point, and then you never made it with Shohei. And, yes, I get it. Rendon did not do well. The pitchers did not do well that you brought in.
They did not have starting pitching.
Like next year, it might be the year. Trout did say that he's going to stay. He's not requesting a trade. But it might be best if Ohtani does leave, he requests a trade.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, if I'm the Angels, I just trade him in general, even if he doesn't request it.
Speaking of pitching, Ohtani's out for the year for pitching.
Yeah, so they have no one. Literally.
And let's see how his arm holds up during the hitting. So
So keeping disappointments, going on to the NL, the New York Mets.
Yeah, no, easily. I think there's 2. We'll get to the Padres in a second. But this is the big. I think overall, this is the biggest disappointment of all baseball because you finished with 74 wins.
Yeah, the New York Mets, 46% win percentage. You got Justin Verlander. You had to trade him away. You got Max Scherzer, traded him away. Francisco Lindor was not himself at all. Pete Alonso was okay, I would say.
Who's also on the trade block.
Your only bright spot this year was Kodai Senga, which is your rookie, basically.
Yeah.
And Kodai Senga pitched absolutely incredibly this year, and but everything else was just absolute shit show.
Yeah, like you extended Brandon Nimmo, or re-signed him. Sorry, he finished with a 274 average, 162 hits, 24 home runs only. Pete Alonso.
That was like one of their better hitters.
Yeah, so
that was their best hitting stats wise. Lindor bad. Alonso wasn't great. Like it was an overall bad.
Alonso
season.
At this point is just like a power hitter and that's it.
Yeah, he is.
Right, and it's best to trade him. But 74 wins after spending that much, right? And you were still gonna get Carlos Correa, couldn't get him obviously because of medical concerns. Yeah, they're saying that they're 2 years away. Let's see if they make a run at Shohei Ohtani. But yeah, they're another big disappointment. But sticking to the division, 104 win Atlanta Braves. Who would have thought they would have had? Speaking of that, not even just saying that, not a surprise. The surprise is Ronald Acuna Jr. 70 stolen bases.
Yeah, is that really it's impressive, but out of all the people that were supposed to do it, it was gonna be him, right? And he finally had a full-on healthy year this year, and it just improved that team by that much because he was able to stay on the field.
On top of that, he had 40
home runs, 70 stolen bases. It's insane. It's an insane feat. Right?
Obviously, and then Matt Olson did a
franchise record-breaking year.
Not even just that, because he lost Freddie Freeman, and I still think Freddie Freeman had a better year overall. I guess you could say arguable, but Freddie Freeman is still the better player in my opinion, and the fact that you still held your own and went all and above, because like Matt Olson was a guy replacing Freddie Freeman, and he did pretty much.
Yeah, exactly he did good last year. He did good this year, right? And the Freddie Freeman thing is in the past, so there's no I just don't think it's no point of bringing up Freddie Freeman because they're still perfectly fine without him.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There's no issues.
That's what I was gonna say, because everybody at that time was like, "Damn, you let Freddie go, Mr. Brave," right? So,
but they figured it out. Matt Olson, absolute stud, franchise record holder in RBIs and in home runs, and they're a team that, like we said, they're the best team in the league. But are they gonna be the best team in the playoffs? We don't know about baseball.
Yeah,
crazy shit happens. Like the year Atlanta won themselves, they were clearly not the best team.
Sticking with the surprise, Arizona.
Yeah, playoff bound.
They are playoffs. They have 84 wins, so it's not even like they barely had a 500 record. They were over 500. They finished third in the.
I mean, you have to have over 500 to make the playoffs. So there's no surprise about that.
No, I know. I'm just saying like 80, like expected, because they could have still missed the playoffs because Chicago had 83, but Arizona traded away one of their better hitters, but because they were able to. Better players, not just overall hitter, because Dalton Varsho, great defensive player as well, base runner.
Not good hitting year.
But like that's a different story.
Not the same story. He's the same player. It's just that he didn't have a good hitting year, but he still helped lead the Jays, like how Lourdes Gurriel and Gabriel Moreno helped the Arizona Diamondbacks.
No, so my point was Corbin Carroll took that big step this year as a rookie,
and with the help of Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, their starting pitchers. They got Paul Sewald from the Mariners.
Yeah.
As a bullpen closer guy. And and then Lourdes had a good year himself, all-star year. And I don't know who else. Kettle Marte.
Yeah.
Their leadoff guy, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we'll see. They're
Evan Longoria is still playing.
They're gonna have a good matchup against the Brewers for sure.
Evan Longoria is still playing.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, Gurriel finished off with 24 home runs. But yeah, I think that was like a win-win trade in all aspects.
Yeah, it worked out for both teams.
Dalton Varsho still young back to the Blue Jays very quickly. He still has chance to improve still, but his eliteness and base running and defense obviously was the major factor this year. Whereas Gabby Moreno, he have a chance to still improve. I don't think he stood out like crazy, but it's still a great pickup for them. Rooting for them. And Gurriel obviously finished off with 24 home runs. But sticking to the same division.
Padres, what the hell happened? Especially, I didn't believe in the Padres that much.
They were my World Series, at least in the World Series. I don't know if I had them winning it at the beginning of the year, but they were my World Series.
I still expected playoffs.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, now they ended off on a high, but which doesn't mean it because it was a little too late. Still finished somehow ahead of the Giants because they were way behind. 82 wins, and we mentioned Gabe Kapler getting fired for the Giants. Just check out our other pod, we talked about it there. And also Angel Hernandez, we had a rant about him and why does he still have a job, right?
Yeah.
Padres, like, you got Tatis back eventually.
Quick news, Kevin Gausman officially game 1 starter for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they named anyone else.
I think it was Pablo Lopez.
And it's Pablo Lopez, right?
Yeah. For not okay, we'll get into the series there.
Yeah, but that just broke right now, and I mean Padres absolutely dreadful season. You have all these players: Machado, Tatis, Bogarts, Soto, and you couldn't get the job done.
Darvish,
Blake
Snell
having a Cy Young year himself.
You had Darvish, Josh Hader
as well.
There are question marks because Soto's not extended.
Yeah,
Hader's a free agent.
Yeah,
Blake Snell, I think, is upcoming free agent, he something like that.
I think he might have 1 year, or he might be a free agent right now.
So I don't know if they're gonna trade away a guy like Tatis, and if he does, hopefully he's not a Yankee. Tatis had I wouldn't say MVP year, but he was in talks of he had a classic Tatis year at right field. But there should have been like the amount of money if they spent. They were one of my favorites because I believed in that team with Tatis coming back. They couldn't do it. With Blake Snell obviously probably winning Cy Young there, arguably.
Yeah, I think he's a favorite.
between him and Zach Gallen, probably,
Yeah, I don't know if there's anyone else top of my head, but I think those two are definitely up there.
or Spencer Strider.
Spencer Strider's in the. I think it's those. I think it will be those three, between those three.
But yeah, so Padres, another disappointing year. You finish off on a high, so you could say you're a 500 team, but that doesn't matter for you guys.
That won't matter. Yeah. So moving on, our last two teams, probably one disappointment, one surprise. We'll start off with the disappointment. St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
Absolute massive fall off for them. Yeah, Albert Pujols was a big loss, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I genuinely don't know.
I'm so confused. And now you lost Adam Wainwright. You have no Yadier Molina, who was gone with Pujols. So yeah, just definitely turning for them. A franchise that's lost now three Hall of Famers.
Yadier Molina, Adam Wainwright,
and Albert Pujols. So yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised. I'm really surprised, especially when Goldschmidt and Arenado having incredible years last year. I just don't know what happened to them. I'll be honest with you. I have no words for what happened to the Cardinals, because I felt like this was one of the easier divisions to predict for me, like between the Brewers and Cardinals. And yeah, there were a lot of surprises in this division as well, with the Reds and Cubs as well.
Yeah, so the Reds, Cubs, okay, I kind of saw them in that range.
Cubs were a better
personally.
team,
I don't
yeah.
think they were a big surprise of where they finished. It was more of a surprise they struggled in the beginning for me, more so than how they finished. But coming back,
they're mid. They weren't supposed to be. They were not supposed to be in this position.
I thought they were able to compete, like where the Giants finished essentially. But that's a different story. Reds, yeah.
But yeah, Reds are the bigger surprise.
Had like 5 rookies this year, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz that coming up was obviously kind of died down a bit, but was the biggest hype in baseball. The guy could throw 100 miles per hour.
and run 100 miles per hour.
100 miles per hour and hit for 100 miles per hour. Joey Votto came back, had a renaissance year, and just missed out though. They were right there. They were just right there after post All-Star kind of went down for them. But yeah, I think those are the biggest surprises and disappointments.
So,
but before we continue with the playoffs, we have 2 things to discuss here. First off, legends saying goodbye. We officially had Miguel Cabrera say goodbye. We officially had Adam Wainwright say goodbye. Joey Votto still has questions. Terry Francona, manager for Cleveland, is officially gone too, retiring, I believe. And then there's one more player on the top of my head. I can't remember. But those guys, obviously baseball is now coming down to the younger guys, right? Like, who's the oldest guy I could think of right now?
That's good.
That's playing. Let's just not even like great.
I don't know.
Correct. Like Miguel Cabrera was like the only one you thought of, really.
Like all those guys they're gone basically. I don't know if we're missing anyone. Comment down below if we're missing anyone. But off the top of my head, Miguel Cabrera was the last one for me from when I started watching baseball. And yeah.
Votto, it was Votto, Greinke, Zach Greinke.
Yeah.
Adam Wainwright, Miguel Cabrera, the 4, and then Terry Francona was the 5th guy.
So it's a lot of turnover in baseball, going from legends to now the present, the past.
Yeah.
The past is probably, you could say, the past is officially gone.
Like the older guys now are like guys like Arenado, Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
Guys like that.
Goldschmidt.
Yeah. So those guys are the ones remaining. I know what's his name was struggled, who was in San Francisco but went to Arizona, got DFA'd. The pitcher.
Oh, Baumgartner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baumgartner was still there. He got... Yeah, it's definitely... Baumgartner's definitely a legend. I remember those performances.
Struggle, though. It so sucks if he's going to go on a low like this. That's going to be the shitty part.
That's the shitty part.
But yeah, like, those are the only guys remaining. And then we obviously have the future in Julio, hopefully Vladdy,
Ronald
Acuna, Ellie De La Cruz, guys coming up. And you guys got, like, Jackson Holiday, Adley Rutschman, all these guys as well. So... the last thing, let's just get right into this one. The new rules that were in effect this year. We had the bigger bases, which was like whatever.
Stolen bases. I mean, that's how Acuna got 70.
Yeah. There was the shift. So, you can't shift over. And the biggest one of them all, the pitch clock. And before, because we didn't start the podcast when the MLB season started. So before we got news of it, what was the season started, what was your thoughts on it?
I think it makes sense, right? Like I get to watch baseball more often, right? I don't have to wait 3 hours of my day, 3-4 hours of my day just for seeing batters to call timeout every like 2 bats. every 2 swings or something. So I like the rules. Yeah, obviously baseball's an old school sport, right? So a lot of people didn't like it.
But did you expect it to work as how it worked though? Like how
Yeah,
flawless?
I mean, this is what I expected, and it worked out in my opinion. And I think there's no issues with it. And yeah, you gotta adjust to it, right? They had to figure out some ways to make baseball enjoyable, and it did work. It just worked.
Fast pace. I think one of the earlier games went like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Now that's when beer companies were complaining because like the sales went down.
Yeah, that's true. But look, realistically, if you think if the game is longer, it's because the people are hitting, right? The games are shorter because the pitchers are cooking, right? But if both teams are just cranking home runs, the game's gonna be longer, obviously.
Well, yeah, no, and then even if it's because the shift is off too, right? So that means it helps the hitters that way because every time it pissed me off when Kevin Biggio was up to bat or any lefty, because obviously we watched the Jays games the most last year, but any lefty that was batting, it was like everybody's literally on that side.
Yeah,
literally on
that
side.
4 outfielders,
yeah,
and all that stuff.
So in that sense, I was like, okay, good, like that. We need more hits as well. And even listen, pitch clock helped both batter and pitcher. It wasn't just for the pitcher. It was also because the pitcher would be like, oh my god, I have a pitch clock. I need to hurry up and pitch, and then they
don't think about the pitches, right?
Exactly. No, it helps them, but they don't
overthink it.
They don't overthink it, but they also could be like, oh my god, I need to pitch now, and they might throw a wild pitch at a crucial stage. They might get or they might put a hanging slider in the middle type of thing. So it helps both sides.
It shouldn't be an issue for pitching now. Like obviously, it'll probably taken a month to adjust, but at the end of the day, like there's no complaints of obviously. At the beginning, they're like, oh, those pitch clock violation strikes and balls. I didn't see many after the first month.
Because we went to a couple of Vancouver Canadian games, so obviously we got to see how it worked the year before it officially, and then we obviously went this year to see it in action in general. Yeah, no, like for me, the pitcher, it's not even just like the pitchers don't overthink. The batters also have to just sit there and anticipate because it helps the batters because they don't have to stand there and wait for so long and just call time, right? Because sometimes it's not even on them. Because the pitcher's just gonna be like, no, and then go right. In this case, and the pitch calm obviously helps a little bit of that. But yeah, loved it. The shift, loved it because like it was enjoyable to watch. I didn't have to see 30, flyouts towards a second baseman in left field or right field, stuff like that. That was annoying. And yeah, overall great. It's in the playoffs, so we'll see how it is when it's in a pressure stage now because you can have a loud crowd.
Yeah, that's true.
And everything like that. And let's see. Maybe they have to make adjustments to it next year, but for now it should be fine.
Only thing I could probably think of is probably add a little bit more time to the clock, but otherwise I like it that it's still in there. And as long as the extra innings rule is not in the playoffs, I'm happy. Which is not. So yeah. But let's get into the playoffs now.
Yeah.
Enough season recap. Let's get all these shit teams
Comment
out of the way.
your guys' favorite moment of the year down below.
Do that.
That's it. That's where questions.
But let's get all these bad teams out of the way because we got 12 teams fighting for the Commissioner's Trophy, right?
Okay.
That's what it's called. I don't know why it's called Commissioner's Trophy.
I'm just gonna say World Series. But no, before I get to that, I have a slight rant.
Oh my god.
No, I have a slight rant.
What is it?
The champagne parties for making the wild cards.
Oh, it's fine, man.
I don't know. I'm not the only one. I've seen it all over Twitter. I saw Luke Wilson of TSN say it looks like they're celebrating a World Series. It's bullshit. I don't care. Like I get it for a team like Arizona, but if you're a division winner, I'm fine with that, right? But if you're like the Jays, if you're like the Astros, they won the division, but like I'm just saying in general. That's over the top for me. I don't care.
It's been going
on. It's been going on. I'm not saying that. That doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that's bullshit. I think that they need to stop doing that. And I'm not saying just the Jays. I'm saying for everybody. Right? Get into the playoff spot and then celebrate if you win an actual series. I get it. You got in. You have a little party, but you can't go all out, champagne everywhere, chucking it over Hazel May's head, asking her to drink. Yeah. This is the reason why Texas will start off with that series. Then Texas-Tampa since the first one. Texas lost 1-0. Blew their division title because I'm 100% sure they partied so hard Saturday night that they blew it away.
Yeah, who knows?
That's my rant. That's a mini rant. Right? I think it's stupid.
I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't care because there's a consequence to it, right?
Yeah.
If you party too hard, you still might be hungover Tuesday morning.
That's stupid. Before the game. That's my point.
But
let's start there. First game.
They gotta figure that shit out on their own.
That's
right?
on the team.
I don't care about it as much as you do.
I just think it's
like
stupid.
At the end of the day, you're gonna face a consequence if it affects you, and it affected Texas Rangers. And they got the Tampa Bay Rays. It's
weird because
both of them
had hot starts Tampa Bay historic hot start. Then they fell off, but they were still good enough.
Still fine, yeah.
Texas fell off a cliff after All-Star when me and you were arguing during our mid-season tier list that it's a S or a A, because you thought they went over the top, where I thought that's where they should have been. And then if they had missed the playoffs, we probably had to argue D or F or C or whatever.
But they fell off.
But they kind of came back up a little bit.
They figured their shit out, right? And batting wise, I favor the Rangers.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's for sure.
Simeon. Oh, we forgot to do one part of the season recap.
What?
Award predictions.
We'll do it after preview.
Okay.
Batting edges Texas for sure.
Simeon led in hits. Seager was second in average.
And pitching obviously is to the Rays, even without McClanahan.
The biggest question mark is Scherzer coming back and is DeGrom coming back? We don't know that. I don't know unless you could look at it right now.
I don't think it's for this series though.
Tampa's home, right?
Yeah, Tampa Bay's
like I said, Texas messed it up because they would have had a bye. If I were to go prediction wise, it depends on how much can Texas just hit, and the problem is Texas bullpen.
Yeah,
right. That's the biggest. That's the biggest question mark here because you have no Scherzer and you have no DeGrom most likely.
As a pitching is a question mark.
Now
right?
the thing
offense, I'm fine with it. Rays have been playing this brand of baseball with Kevin Cash for a long time now.
The only thing that screws him over is his overthinking of analytics.
That is true sometimes, but at the end of the day, like you got Zach Eflin, who incredible year, probably their best pitcher because McClanahan got hurt. Who else? Like with all those injuries to Rasmussen and McClanahan.
Then you brought back Glasnow.
Yeah, you have Glasnow back as well. So like the fact that you're able to figure that stuff out on the fly and still make it at this spot, like I still give you. If I were to pick, I pick the Rays.
I'm just saying if there's a thing out. Yeah, no, because usually it says like under the team name who's pitching, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not out yet, but Rays and how much? Out of the by the way, this is best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Wild card.
I don't know. Pitching and defense is the main thing in how to win World Series. Astros had pitching and defense last year because I remember Astros Trey Mancini making some incredible plays even though he was so bad offensively for them.
Yeah.
Against the Phillies. So Rays have that and they have that big advantage over the Texas Rangers over that. Texas may have a slight edge on hitting, but pitching and defense, it's in favor of the Rays by a landslide, in my opinion, especially with Scherzer and DeGrom out.
Yeah, because the Rays did this with Wander Franco's situation going on as well. So, what are you leaning?
Rays.
How much?
2-0.
2-0?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Rays 2-1. What do you think are pitching wise though? It's probably Eovaldi
and Montgomery and probably Dane Dunning.
Okay, and then these guys
or Andrew Heaney. Those are the 4 pitchers.
Heaney just pitched though.
Yeah, so
on Saturday.
So it's probably be Montgomery first, in my opinion. Then it's probably Eovaldi, and then if they need a third, it's probably Dane Dunning.
Let me just see if there's a pitching matchups or just double check. But I'm gonna give Texas a slight edge because they're hitting. No, sorry, one game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'll say it's like.
But Zach
I could see Texas taking game 2 and making it a series. I think were all of last year's 2-0. Jays were 2-0. Guardians got 2-0.
Rays 2-0. Phillies. I don't know about Phillies Cardinals. Was Phillies Cardinals last year?
I don't remember. You could look that up.
I think it was Phillies beat Cardinals 2-0. And then I forgot who the other one were. Unless Phillies and Cardinals were in another one. But I'll check that out right now. But
yeah, I'm just looking up the pitchers.
But yeah, I mean, I'm going with the Rays. As simple as that. Let's see what happens.
Okay, I don't see anything anywhere.
But yeah, pitching and defense is the big thing.
Okay, for sure. So speaking of pitching and defense, so final prediction, he's 2-0. I'm 2-1 Rays. We're both still picking the Rays, which means they're gonna go up against the Orioles afterwards, which we're not. We're not gonna do a whole bracket by bracket. Jays. Speaking of pitching and defense, Twins. Who also have good pitching.
Yeah, always 2-0. It's Padres beat Mets 2-1.
Yeah, okay, I remember that now.
And everything else was 2-0.
Okay, so this one, Jays, Twins. Now here's a history with this. Jays haven't won a postseason game with this current group at all,
Their
and
last
haven't won since 2016.
2016.
A game. The Twins haven't won a playoff game in 18 straight playoff games. Now that could be I think it was dated back to like 2000s.
04.
Yeah. So every time since 04, every time they made the playoffs, they haven't won. Something's gotta give, so I'm gonna give the edge. I'm gonna say it's 1-1 for sure, going into game 3. And listen, I'm gonna be slightly biased here. I think you might be slightly biased here, but here's the thing: Sonny Gray and Pablo Lopez. So I think Pablo Lopez game 1 versus Kevin Gausman. Sonny Gray. Hitting wise, we already know what the Jays' potential is, but we haven't seen it. Hitting wise for the Twins, they're missing pieces most likely.
They are missing pieces, but the overall advantage goes to the Twins, basing off this season, because they had some rookies, Edward Julian, who popped off for them. If they have Carlos Correa healthy, obviously you could put him in the mix. Same with Byron Buxton. So from what was produced this season, I have to give the edge to the Twins. But if you're looking at it on paper, the Jays are better.
So here's the thing: Kevin Gausman's pitching game 1, most likely Chris Bassett game 2. They both struggled.
Yeah, against their starts against the Twins.
Against the Twins this year specifically. Then Jose Barrios might be the one coming in game 2 or game 3. We don't know. That's between Bassett and Barrios. Listen, I'm gonna go Jays because the defense and hopefully the pitching is insane because the bullpen. And listen, we have guys like George Springer, who's been clutch in the playoffs. Brandon Belt has experience, right? Kevin Gausman was in the playoffs, had experience with the
Giants.
The Giants as well. I'm gonna say Jays 2-1, and the other factors, I understand Minnesota's home, but Jays fans travel. We've seen that. This is why I prefer Twins over Tampa as well, because I think Saskatchewan or whatever is up above in
Minnesota,
Canada they've traveled a lot, and I'm gonna say Jays 2-1 because this is the easier matchup, right? Over the Rays.
Over the Rays, I'd rather have the Twins.
So, and I think the Twins just got easy scheduling, right? Easy division. Whereas the Jays were battle tested all year. Now it's the time to see if it's true.
And Jays were apart from the last 2 games, obviously, Jays are coming in pretty hot. You know, they had a good September because obviously at the beginning where they got swept by Rangers, they had to go on a run, which they did against the Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays, and to the point where they made the playoffs. And the Twins, like I said, their bullpen they have some good pieces, but obviously Jays bullpen is better. And Jays pitching is better.
So I'm going 2-1 Jays.
Yeah, I not like I said hitting's a question mark. If they figure out the hitting, which I think they might be able to chase Pablo Lopez game 1, get him out early potentially, I think they could go 2-0 Jays.
So you're going 2-0 Jays?
Yeah, I'm going with 2-0.
Okay. Now, those of you guys know, every time we made a prediction, majority have been opposite. So that's the scary part right now. When it came to the NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs, because literally the opposite happened for those.
Yeah, but I'm back my team here.
Yeah, we're backing our team here.
Moving on to the other side.
NL,
we got Diamondbacks and Brewers. And I've just seen a report where Brewers will be missing their second best pitcher in Brandon Woodruff.
Okay.
So Corbin Burns obviously will be one of the starters. Now there's question marks for who will be the other ones. But Brewers had a good year. They genuinely had a good year. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Diamondbacks, obviously, Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly should be the 2 starters. I don't know who'll be the third. But it might not even come to a third. But I don't know who to pick here. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be a tough one, for sure.
Quick thing on the Blue Jays, they're leaning towards 14 position players and 12 pitchers to go.
Okay.
This is according to Ben Nicholson-Smith. Yeah. Now, also the umpires are out for that game, and no, we don't have Angel Hernandez.
That's good. That is very good.
But listen, I'm gonna go off vibes because, I'll be honest with you, it's tough to watch a lot of baseball during the year when other sports are also going on. 162 games, but I follow storylines. I'm gonna go with vibes for this one because Milwaukee had a similar year like the Twins for the most part, easy division, whereas the Diamondbacks had to fight. For 4 teams were decent before the Giants fell off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Arizona the slight edge. Actually, no. I'm gonna give Milwaukee 2-1 as well. I feel like I'm gonna go 2-1 for all. That's just a cop out answer. I'm going 2-1 because of the experience.
Yeah, I can't argue that. I was I would I'm gonna go. I think Arizona pulls off upset. I think I wanna pick Brewers, but that Woodruff one I think is a big loss because he is a good starter for them. But whereas if a fully healthy Diamondback team, I think they could pull off something here. And if Zach Allen and Mail Kelly pitch incredibly well, I think they will have the edge in the series. So I'm gonna go with the Arizona Diamondbacks 2-1.
Okay, yes, I'm going Brewers
And also,
2-1.
reason being is Brewers were comfortable, right? Like they had it locked out. Where Diamondbacks fought till the end, and yes, they lost to the Astros the series, but at the same time, they were playing meaningful baseball till the end, which sometimes, in baseball, it may not work for other sports, but in baseball, it could be an advantage for you.
And the same thing, Diamondbacks did not care about the last game. They were the exact same situation. This is literally Jays versus Twins, except Jays had more experience than Diamondbacks. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's literally it. But I'm going to go with Brewers, just slight experience. That's the only reason why.
And
2-1.
Yeah, so coming out to our final matchup, it is between... I forgot who again.
Marlins, Phillies.
Yeah, Marlins, Phillies.
This one, I'm going to go Phillies 2-0.
Phillies 2-0. 2-0. Simple.
It might not be as easy as we're making it out to be.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
It's just Phillies... they're too good. They're your World Series prediction early on. I don't know if it changes. We're going to make our prediction right now anyways. But, I just think the Phillies are overall the better team.
I picked them. Reason being, they added so many more pieces. Shortstop Trey Turner, who...
He's picked it up now.
They picked it up, right? Like, they did not start good at all. But they are looking like a good team right now. Locked up the 4th seed pretty well, the top wildcard spot. Playing
as long as Bryce Harper does not have Angel Hernandez, you're fine.
Yeah. And
Schwarber.
Yeah, hitting wise, you should be fine, I think.
Biggest question mark for that one is Schwarber. Literally, what are you going to get?
And then Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, I believe. I don't think they have any injuries. And Michael Lorenzen will be your 3 pitchers. And there are 3 stud pitchers.
Yeah.
Are you just checking the injuries?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't think anyone is out.
Yeah, no one. So, yeah, I think it's easy. I think Marlins are just too young or not as experienced, clearly, because these guys were a World Series finalist who went out and got Trey Turner.
One more thing, Sandy Alcantara did not have a good year.
Yeah, so the fact that they got here without Sandy Alcantara, who knows what could happen afterwards with that, but Luis Arias might have to go 500 hitting to have a chance.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I think this one's Phillies 2-0. This is my only 2-0 I'm going to go with now.
So that
marks the wild card preview. Let's just finish off on one thing on the playoffs. World Series prediction off the bat right now. Obviously, we'll adjust it every round.
But
as of right now, are you sticking with the Phillies going it, or are you going to change that? And who's your AL? Because the AL is a tough one to predict for me.
AL is tough. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Phillies.
Okay.
I think they figure it out, and they could potentially get the job done. AL, I'm going to go... I did say Rangers, but I just predicted them to be out now.
Yeah.
So, if I were to change it, I don't want to pick Astros again because they always figure it out in the playoffs as well. But I'm probably in between Rays, Jays, and Orioles. I'm the AL East. I'm just in between those 3. I don't want to pick the Jays because I'm not confident they're hitting. Orioles are inexperienced. Rays are too injured.
And Orioles are closer.
Oh yeah, Felix Bautista's out too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm leaning Rays.
But Rays are not fully healthy either. If you think about it. They
okay.
all have question marks. They all have good.
So pick one. Just bet on it right now. Who are you going with? Is it Rays or Astros at this point?
I think it might be the Astros again. I'm predicting a rematch.
Okay, I'm predicting a rematch too, but the one from 2020. I think it was 2020.
What?
Dodgers and Rays.
Oh, Dodgers Rays. Okay.
That rematch.
Yeah.
Atlanta, as much as I want to, is an easy pick, but we've seen top teams like, for example, the Dodgers last year go out. That may be the same case here. I mean, Atlanta was comfortable for the whole year, and deservedly so, because they were in a slightly tough division too, especially with the Marlins stepping up. But I'm thinking the Dodgers. I know they're missing, obviously for rightful reason, Urias, and they have Walker Buehler still out and stuff like that. But Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, arguably 2 MVP candidates. I don't think they'll win, but they're the top 3 with Acuna.
Yeah.
I think I'm going with the rematch right now. Early rematch. Again, I agree with you. I don't trust the Jays at the moment. I need to see what happens in this series. They get the Astros next, so for you that could be your choosing. If the Jays get past the Twins.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Rays. I just think they'll find their beginning of the season form. They're experienced and hopefully learn from what they did in 2020.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, it's hard to pick. Baseball is really hard.
So hard to pick. Like it's not basketball where the best team will usually win.
Wins. But yeah, no, that's our MLB playoff preview.
Before we finish it off, let's just go season-ending awards. We forgot to do 2 things.
What?
Let's just before we go to that, coaches that are gonna get fired. We already said Cape Kapler. Terry Francona has an opening. He's gone now. Buck Showalter is gone, so we know that. Do the Padres fire their coach? And I think there's 2 teams that came on the top of my head. Padres, obviously, and the Mariners.
Mariners, no.
The reason why I'm saying the Mariners is I was looking at Mariners insiders and like that media side. Yeah. They're saying that Scott Service has been there for 7 years or something, and he hasn't done much with a team like this. Now they blame ownership more for not spending.
Is the issue. That's why I don't see him going, because he's not the issue. He was the biggest issue. The issue was that I guess this year
he was an issue.
They didn't buy at the trade deadline. They traded with their closer, right? And when it came down to the trenches, Mariners lost close games in September because they didn't have the bullpen depth that they used to have.
So, but that doesn't stop people from firing them.
Yeah, that's true.
He could be a scapegoat at the end of the day.
He could be, because I'm going by like what I think and I think he deserves one more year. Padres gotta go. Aaron Boone, I think, still stays for Yankees.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one.
I think they'll give him one more year.
Because here's the thing: if you fire the GM, right, Cashman, which he should go.
Yeah.
Boone could be gone with him.
Yeah,
I think they might clean house.
But I'm just looking at performance. I'm not looking at any other shit, right? I'm just looking at what I believe. I think he gets one more year. I think Seattle's get one more year, and White Sox is already gone, right? Like,
no, just Wait,
White Sox should be open. Did they have opening?
They fired their GM. I don't think they fired their manager.
Yeah, I think White Sox should be gone.
Also another disappointing team.
Unless they replace mid-year. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And Angels, do they have opening?
Well, Angels fire their manager like every year, so it doesn't even matter at this point.
So yeah, I'm just saying, but yeah, I don't know managers. I'll be honest with you.
I'm just saying based on team, I think Scott Service might be gone, because I'm looking at not just the performance. Because this year they should have been a playoff team, right?
Yeah, for
in
sure.
many people's eyes, and people are saying that like, yeah, I get it. They haven't bought, and that's their main issue, because Cal Raleigh came out and called them out, and JP Crawford backed that up. Softy Mahler, who's usually on Halford and Bruff, he's the one. I was looking at his tweets mainly, and he's the one saying like it might be time for both of them to go.
Yeah, that could be true.
Not the ownership, sorry, the GM. He's like, with Scott Service has been there 7 years, only one chance at making one playoff run and one chance at making it, and they should have made it this year.
There was 2 chances.
There was 2 chances of 2 playoff spots. He didn't get it done. They might go get a Gabe Kapler, who might be available, right? So I think Scott Service will be gone, and I think I think Aaron Boone will be gone.
I don't agree with
at least Cashman will be gone, then because of that, I think Boone will be gone. And I think those are the 2. I think Boone is just like fighting umpires on, knowing that this is probably his last year. So he's like, might as well have fun.
Who knows what happens, right? Yeah.
So there's one.
There's coaching, managers. Let's go into awards, and that's the only thing we have left.
Yeah. So
AL MVP
is Ohtani. Okay. The question is, who's second and third in your opinion?
I don't know off the top of my head. It's so hard to tell.
I think Corey Seager should be in conversation.
Yeah, I need to look at a list of players. I'll be honest with you, because I can't think this off the top of my head. Baseball is one of the sports where like I can't really keep track of everything, because all these games are going on at the same time, which pisses me off. Playoffs are going on at the same time too, which pisses me off.
Yandy Diaz.
Can't they not spread it out? Like put a game at 6, put a game at 4.
Yeah,
you have a game at 1.
I gotta
you
watch it during
both
work.
of them on at the same time.
I gotta watch it during work.
It's annoying. MLB short list players, right? Basically.
Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, he had a good year.
I think it's gonna be Kyle Tucker and Corey Seager. And I know Yandy Diaz.
Yandy Diaz had a good year, obviously. Led the batting title.
J-Rod would have been in contention. I don't think he gets it now because the beginning of the year was that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm going with my final three, obviously Ohtani wins it. I'm going with
Julio.
You're going Julio still?
Ohtani's winning, but Julio's in the...
No, that's what I'm saying. You're still...
It's Julio is in the short list for me. Ohtani, Julio, and between Seager or Yandy Diaz. Those are my three.
Okay, I'm not putting Julio because the beginning of the year was dreadful.
Julio's the only reason why they're relevant.
No, I mean, that's what you can say that with every team.
Huh?
Like, the years Oilers were bad, McDavid made them relevant. That doesn't mean he was in the final three.
Yeah, but baseball doesn't work like that. Right?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter about who wins or lost. Like, if Ohtani's winning it, his team's absolutely garbage.
Okay, so in this case, yeah, they have Julio third, but I'm going with Ohtani, Seager, Yandy Diaz. I'm going with that. NL, I think it's Acuna winning it, and then pick your poison between Freeman and Betts.
It's those three.
Yeah.
It's those three.
No one else.
Acuna should win it. Yeah.
Cy Young, Garrett Cole, Kevin Gausman,
and probably maybe Sonny Gray could have in there for the Twins because he had a good year himself. Yeah, I think that's the AL. I think Garrett Cole should be favored for sure.
Yeah, so I think it's Garrett Cole, Kevin Gausman, Sonny Gray, or Kyle Bradish, and I'm gonna go with I'll go Sonny Gray as well.
So you go Sonny Gray, Gausman, and same as me then.
Yeah, same as you.
But Garrett Cole wins it.
I won't be surprised if Pablo Lopez ends up in there, Kyle Bradish ends up in there, Zach Eflin ends up in there.
Yeah, Zach Eflin.
I don't think Chris Bassett will get in there, but
no.
yeah.
But Garrett Cole's gonna win it. NL, there's a quite a bit here. Obviously Blake Snell's in there. He's the favorite. I think he had an incredible year.
Kodai Senga's a rookie.
Kodai Senga could get it. Justin Steele was the one I was looking at for the Cubs, right? And I was really impressed by the incredible year he had. But at the end of the day, I think Blake Snell is like Garrett Cole. I think Blake Snell deserves it. I think it's a clear Blake Snell. But the other two should be Zach Gallen, in my opinion, and
Spencer Strider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Who I think will win it? I don't want to go the same as you, because Blake Snell was second in strikeouts, and yeah, I gotta go Blake Snell. He was ERA leader by quite a bit.
I mean, I think all the
he was ERA leader.
I think all the awards are clear cut, right? Because if you're looking at AL rookie, Gunnar Henderson's a clear. And and you're looking at NL rookie, Corbin Carroll's clear.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
There's no debate there.
No debate there.
Manager of the year, I'm going with the Orioles, whoever that is on the AL.
Brandon Hyde.
Yeah. He's AL easily, no doubt.
And then
NL, you could debate between Diamondbacks and Reds, but because for me, if Diamondbacks made the playoffs, I'm going Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Because I like to base my manager of the year based on expectations. And I expected what the Braves to do. I expected what the Dodgers to do. I did not expect those two teams to do what they did.
Yeah, I agree.
I need to go with Diamondbacks for that.
You going with Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
I mean, I could also throw in Marlins.
Well. True.
Brewers had a good year. Yeah, I mean,
I'm going with Diamondbacks. I feel like because they're...
I'm going with the Marlins.
Marlins? Okay,
yeah,
I'm going
with Skip Schumacher.
Who's Skip Schumacher. Who's the Diamondbacks?
Diamondbacks is Tori Lovulo.
All right, I'm going with Tori.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our award predictions. I think this is probably the easiest. Awards. It's the easiest prediction.
I think it's easy.
It's
right?
so easy.
Clear cut.
There's no real debate.
There's no real debate
except for maybe NL Cy Young. Outside of that, there's no real debate.
Like Cole's favored.
AL is straight easy. Ohtani. NL you have debates, and I still think Okini. Manager of the year and Cy Young. Manager of the year is the biggest debate.
Yeah, manager of the year is the biggest debate.
But AL is everything's clear.
Ohtani clear, Cole clear, Gunnar Henderson clear, Brandon Hyde clear, NL Acuna's clear,
Carroll's clear.
Carroll's clear.
The other two you could debate.
Snell is a favored. There's still a clear favorite. And then
you could debate
manager of the year's biggest debate,
because you can still give it to Atlanta.
Yeah, you could give it to anyone.
So that's a debate.
Atlanta's a Brian Snicker, and yeah.
All right, so that's officially our season recap and our playoff wildcard preview. We'll obviously do another preview of the next round once it's over, and we'll try to next podcast comes out Thursday. So we'll obviously talk about assuming two of the series or 2-0 series are done. We'll be talking about those and then going into it the next weekend. We'll try our best to find a guest to help come on, but it's a busy time for everybody. But in the meantime, you'll get us two idiots trying to learn overall baseball. We know baseball. We know the sport baseball, and how we know Blue Jays baseball. We know the game baseball, but in terms of how teams are doing. But no, other than that, make sure you guys check out part 1 of the podcast. Hopefully it gets out. We might be running into technical issues.
It should be out.
It should be out.
Yeah, so that'll be. So today's Tuesday. Yeah, it should be out yesterday. Part 1 covered Drew Holiday trade, covered NFL like usual, and just touch of soccer as well.
If you want to hear, if you guys hate Angel Hernandez, go check that podcast.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's the baseball talk there. If you want to hear us rant about Angel Hernandez. And by the way, stop the champagne showers. That's how I'm gonna end it off. Other than that, make sure you guys.
A champagne shower if we had 200 subs.
The fact that we don't drink, no.
Yeah, but like champagne shower with like what something
ciders,
the ciders and stuff. Yeah,
but maybe otherwise 200 subs. Hey, if you guys want to see that, I don't know if we
want to see that. Please help us get there.
Please help us get there. So like, comment, subscribe, follow on everything. We'll be dropping all updates on Twitter and Instagram most likely. And check out our power rankings. We'll be dropping our MLB power rankings heading into the playoffs. One should already be out, I think Monday and Tuesday, so they should be out. And other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.